I'll figure a way to get rid of the top there, but I think this is what we've all been waiting for. This is one of my favorite times as well. I've actually followed Justin a long time ago. A couple of years ago, I met him at an investment club. He didn't know who I was. I was one of the newbies in the room, sitting down, and heard a lot about what he had to say. Since then, we've actually been honored to be on his podcast and on his website. If you guys have a pen and a piece of paper, you're going to want to write this down. It's his website. It's houseflippinghq.com, and it's right here on the slides. Go to that website. There is some absolutely phenomenal information there, and it's all free. I think his philosophy is kind of like our philosophy. The more you give, I think the more that you're going to receive as well. So he's all about giving. He's a fantastic presenter. I think you guys are going to learn a ton. Please give a really warm welcome to Justin Williams. Thank you.
Testing. All right. Hey, how's it going? SDIC in the house. All right, you guys ready to get this house flipping party started or what? It has been a great meeting so far. I'm just blown away. I mean, I learned a ton. I might have a new hard money lending company. Those are good rates, guys. Seriously, if you're new, get those guys' card. You can pay me later, by the way. No, really good. Seriously. Okay, so I'm a little competitive, all right? And my goal tonight, I threw it out there. I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, but my goal, I said I'm going to deliver as much content-packed information tonight as you would get in like a 3-day seminar, okay? Now, that's going to be kind of hard to do, and I got like an hour or around there? An hour and 5 minutes?
15 minutes.
Okay, so I've been trying to think of what to do, and part of what I'm going to do is, how many people are brand new here tonight? Who's never flipped a house in their life? Raise your hand. Okay, who's flipped over 5 houses? Okay, so we have kind of a mixed group. So what I'm going to do tonight, there are some basic principles that they'll take, a couple hours to teach. I am going to provide you with those resources and let you know where you can get them. So who's ever been to a club meeting and they had a fantastic speaker, but they took away that nugget, but they just wanted more, and they didn't have the resources to go to, or they couldn't follow up with that person. And the next club meeting, there's a next speaker, which is great. But sometimes it's important to also follow, similar people. So everybody follow me, okay? Did you get that? Okay, good. No, I'm just kidding. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to point you as I go along, and if I can't go into too much detail, I'm going to give you those resources. In fact, I have a lot of it up here. It's about 50 pages. I thought about printing it off, but I knew how many people were coming tonight, and I thought that might be a little much. So I'm going to let you know exactly where you can go. You can come up and check all these out. It's 6 different documents. Some of them are like 10 pages long that will really help you. Basically, my goal is that you can leave here tonight and go back and apply this stuff, and it could be the equivalent of a $10,000 coaching program. And I've been there and I've been hosed by them. So maybe it's not the equivalent. It's better, I guess. I shouldn't compare. So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, so let me tell you just a little bit about myself. Like Daryl said, I've been investing for 6.5 years, flipped over 300 houses during that time. I'm currently flipping just over 100 houses a year. And I have some pretty good automated systems. I probably put about 1 to 2 hours a day into my house flipping business. And that's not every day. Some days it's none. Some days it's a few more than that. If I wanted to, I could go on vacation for a month and would come back and would have purchased at least 10 houses or so. I'm not saying any of this to brag. I'm just letting you know that's, you got to know what I'm doing, right? Otherwise, why would you want to listen to me? So my goal is to teach you how you can do the same thing. I'm not a professional speaker either, by the way. I'm sure that's very clear. So here's my family, and that's basically what I live for. Okay, so Daryl already mentioned the website. I don't want to go into this too much. I just basically, since I, going surfing and we just moved to San Clemente a few months ago, and we wouldn't have been able to move there if it wasn't, bought our dream home in San Clemente, and it's because of this business that's allowed us to do that. And I got kind of bored after a while of paddleboarding and surfing all day, so I decided I had like this life where I didn't have to work a lot, and now I'm doing all this techie stuff, and it's been taking me probably about 35 to 40 hours a week, so now I'm working again, but it's kind of fun. My goal is to create the website that I would have wanted. That basically teaches you the basics, and that's through the articles and the posts that I do on every week. And we do case studies. Imran and Daryl have done one for us. We have experts from podcasts, house flipping experts are on my podcast show every week. Daryl and Imran have been on there as well. We got Tony Alvarez next week. Who's listened to my podcast? A few of you? What did you think, Alan? You told me you heard the one today on the way up here. Was it pretty good?
That's really good information.
It's Tucker Merrihew.
Real-time.
Guy's building 25 houses this year. He's the top wholesaler in Portland, Oregon. And what's interesting, when I talk to these guys out of state, they're a little more open than some of the local guys, They give us the goods. So, and I grill them too. I didn't let up on them. I got some good information out of them. So, and then go on there and ask questions under every single post that I do. Any question you ask. And you had a pretty good question, right? Did I give you a pretty long answer?
Very long.
Okay. He had a guy tell him he was pumped up about doing some house flipping. He's been learning from my site, and he had a guy tell him, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that in this market." And I gave it to him. So go in there, ask some questions, and my Daryl or anyone who comes on, they'll answer your questions as well. So it's a great resource. And like he said, I believe in abundance. That's me picking my nose. At my first real estate investing seminar in May of 2007, I had no idea what the heck was going on. There's my wife. We were both very confused about the whole thing. So, we actually learned a lot of information that first seminar. But it was just kind of all over the place, and we didn't know where to start. Fortunately, for the low price of only $15,000, this guy was willing to teach us everything he knew. I mean, I could learn to make millions for $15,000 is a no-brainer, right? And to make things even better, a new car would be awarded to the student who performed the best that year. Okay, so the chance to make millions and a new car for 15 grand? No-brainer, right? So, of course, we jumped aboard his coaching program. Now, it didn't take us long to realize that this so-called mentor was nothing more than an information marketer, okay, who hadn't done real estate in the past 6 years. But the car, that's the good part. I actually won the car. Is that cool or what? Yeah. But, just like every broken promise,
what's the catch?
it was never delivered. Can you believe that? 1 year later, this guy didn't teach me much of anything, but I got involved in some good people, and I was just going for it. And 1 year later, I spoke at his seminar in LA and sold a whole bunch more courses for him. He brought me up on stage, gave me the trophy, and a picture of him with the car, said he'd deliver it. Never came. Wow. Never came. So, I kind of have a thing for these gurus who do stuff like that. I don't like it. So, to this day, I still get a little emotional whenever I see a Chrysler 300. So, but so that first year, it took me about 7 months to get my first deal. Now, I was doing short sales just like these guys, and I got going, man. So I got some deals in the pipeline. I went knocking doors, sending out letters. I don't know what the heck I was doing. I remember when I went, the week I got back from the seminar, I went out door knocking. My wife was like, "What are you going to say?" And I was like, "I have no idea, but I know something will come out when I knock on that door." So, and it did. It was like, "I want to buy your house," right? And so my point is, fail forward fast. The faster you can learn to fail in this business, because you will fail every single day, the faster you fail, the quicker you're going to learn what it is you need to do to be successful, okay? So get out there, take action. Just because you're taking action doesn't mean take stupid action. I'm not saying you're not going to lose money. There's a difference. I can go knock on a door. I can send out a letter, and that's step one, right? It didn't cost me much money other than a stamp and an envelope. So when you're about to put the money on the line, that's when you want to think through it a little more. But don't worry about that yet. And we'll get to that. I get excited up here. Oh, it's great. So for the first 2.5 to 3 years, all I did was wholesaling. Okay? And so after that, I got into rehabbing a little bit. And it was kind of slow going, and it was a transition. I went to Ward, just like Rich mentioned, and learned how to buy trustee cells. I learned a lot from Tony Alvarez and my good friend Doug Van Soest on buying REOs and rehabs. And I started doing like about one a month around there. And then I heard this thing about financial freedom, this financial freedom thing was going around. You make more passive income coming in than you have expenses going out. You guys heard of that? It's supposed to be kind of a joke. I didn't work on those jokes. But so financial freedom, I made this goal. I said, okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of rental properties, and I'm going to have my income be more than my outgo, right? A couple $100s per property. I had it all mapped out, all these properties I was going to buy. So in 3 months, I purchased about 10 to 12 rental properties. I was just on fire, right? Mainly using private money lenders and stuff like that. A little bit of my own capital, mainly private money lenders. So what do you think would happen after you buy, what could happen after you buy a bunch of rental properties within 3 months? What was that? Okay, that happened too. That's a pain, it always happens. Repairs. I ran out of money, okay? It was crazy. I remember the day that I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go buy my next rental property, and I didn't have any money left. I called all my private money lenders, and call after call, I was just getting, nope, sorry. So I was like, okay, I got to do something here. So I still had about 3 of these rental properties that weren't rented out yet, that I was just finishing. So like, hey, I got to flip these houses. And as I did that, it's weird, I don't know why the specific area, they were lower end houses. It never dawned on me that they were even flip properties. They're rental properties. But the returns I made from these houses were just phenomenal. And I was like, from those 3 houses, I just made as much money as I would from all these rentals for the next 20 years. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-rentals at all. But for me personally, for my personality, that is what got me really excited. So you upgrade to hotels, right? Anyway, I have this web guy, and he does a fantastic job. Aren't these slides nice? I can't take credit for him, but I sent him an email with everything I wanted on my slides, and he has these old man jokes. So on my website, you'll see, no offense to any of the old men in here, but I'm sure you guys got good jokes too, but you'll see on my website, under all the picture captions, he has all these little jokes, and sometimes I'm just shaking my head. So I started flipping houses on a very large scale. Something just clicked. I realized how quickly I could buy houses, and then I just started bit by bit, putting together the systems to where I could just flip on a large scale. So I thought, okay, financial freedom, the goal is to have a passive income, right, where you don't have to work. So what I thought was, everyone's heard of the book E-Myth, right? I thought, okay, I'm going to put together a house flipping machine. I'm going to put together a house flipping business that works for me, that is passive, yet I can get the returns from flipping, but it's passive in the fact that I can pretty much do what I want when I want. Okay? And today, with 2.5 years later, I can now buy ×2 the same financial freedom I was setting out to get 2.5 years ago, but was going to take me 5 or 6 years. And what I mean by that is I could cash out all my chips and go, earn 10% on my money, or maybe buy rentals free and clear and have that income. Does that make sense? So for me, this way makes sense to me, for me. The returns are just so much better. So, okay, house flipping machine, 3 simple steps, no problem, right? Learn about wholesaling, find houses, and then, okay. So like I said, there's a lot of information. So what I've done It's impossible to learn every single little thing today. But if you go to houseflippinghq.com, I have a special tab just for SDIC. All lowercase, SDIC is lowercase. It's kind of funny after the slash, you got to do lowercase. And I'm going to refer to some of these documents today, and you can get all those documents there. Okay? Okay, so house flipping business, it can seem overwhelming. What I like to do is I'm always breaking things down into different parts. So your house flipping business is going to consist of what I call the 4 pillars. Okay? Everything else is just fluff. It's just stuff, right? So the first pillar is buying. By far, the most important pillar is buying. Second pillar is financing. Third pillar is rehabbing. The fourth pillar is selling. So this is basically the foundation of your house flipping business. This is really the 4 categories that you're going to focus on. Okay? So this is kind of a way you can break it down mentally. So pillar 1, buying. Definitely the most important pillar. So when you're buying a house, you want to focus on a few things. First of all, you want to focus on what kind of house do you want to focus on. You're not going to focus on that McMansion up on the hill. You're not going to focus on the little shack over in the corner. Maybe down the road, as you get really good, you might want to consider some of those things if that makes sense to you. But you want to focus on an entry-level house. Who knows what I mean when I say entry-level house?
Standard financing.
Okay, standard financing. Okay. So yeah.
Middle income.
Middle income. When I go to sell this home, I want to make sure there's going to be a very large pool of people that can buy this house from me. Also, if you're focused on that, if things don't go exactly right, you might have a plan B as a rental. So those are some things to consider. Farm area, who knows what your farm area is? Nobody knows the farm area. Daryl, what's a farm area?
It's the area close to where you do business.
Okay, so you want to pick an area. Okay, so when it comes to buying houses, you want to know what kind of inventory you're going after, and you want to pick a specific area to focus on. Over time, you can branch out, but just focus at first on one city or a part of a city, and then you can branch out from there. This is for people who are getting started. For some of you who are, I'm gonna try to cover something that will help everybody. So, deal analysis. Deal analysis is huge. Okay? If you do not know how to properly analyze deals, meaning what to offer, knowing what you can sell a property for and what you need to offer in order to make a profit, that is the number one thing you need to learn in this business. Write that down. If you're new and you do not know how to analyze deals, that is what you need to do. And that is the first thing that I have outlined. I wrote up a 10-page document teaching you exactly how to analyze deals. Just a 30-second synopsis. What your goal to do is to find out what the house is going to be worth after it's fixed up. So you're going to compare that house to other homes that are fixed up just how yours is going to be fixed up. Okay? And then you're going to come up with what the repairs are. And there's like different formulas you can use to figure that out. And that's what's going to separate you from an investor versus what is often referred to as a speculator, meaning someone who just buys a house and hopes that it's going to go up in value and maybe work out. And that's what got a lot of people in trouble when we had the crash last time. If you have enough margin in there for profit, if something happens and you're turning your property quickly, you should still be okay. All right? And then you got to figure out your acquisition methods. Okay? I already went over deal analysis key. I'm going to tell Mark, my guy, just make this go quick. All right. Okay, so pillar 1. Here's another report I did. I go over all 6. I figured out how have I bought 200 houses over the last 2 years, and I wrote them all up in this report. Last year I was buying a lot of trustee sales. I have not purchased a trustee sale in about 6 months. So trustee sales, if you're new, I would not recommend that. However, I do also have an entire, this is what I do all day, I just get bored. I have another 10-page document on trustee sales. It teaches you, this is by far the most detailed, trustee sale buyers are very secretive. This is by far the most detailed report you'll find on trustee sales. And that market could come back, we'll see. So it's a good thing to know how to do. Let me talk about working with agents first. Okay, so buying is the most important. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on this slide. You guys okay with that? Okay, fill up your deal funnel. There's two different ways that I work with agents. Number one is simple. We just let all agents know who's an agent in here. Okay, I'm letting you all know right now, I buy houses, I buy lots of them, I'll close quickly, I will perform. If you have a property that is listed, or you know, like an inside track is what I call it, meaning you have someone in your office, you know what I can buy it for, you know the numbers make sense, give us a call, okay? There. That's my number one group of agents. Just letting everybody know what I do, and if you have an opportunity, bring it my way. My other agent it's almost like a partner. And this agent, I have like about 3 of them. We keep expanding, but sometimes we kick one to the curb and then we get some more. Kind of like a contractor, right? So this agent is what I call a specific market agent, and they are in charge of making offers on anything that comes up in that market. That is their job. Okay, they network with realtors in their market. They will take calls for me. Get this, they will take calls for me on marketing that I do to that market. These guys will, if I have a tenant that needs to be kicked out, they will kick them out. They do, when I say tenant, sometimes I buy houses with tenants in them. It's not usually my own tenant. They'll do cash for keys. They will handle the eviction. They will check up on the contractor for me, okay? So I use these guys in lots of ways. I don't pay them anything other than their commission. I had 2 agents. One agent last year made about $200,000. The other one made about $150,000. So they're happy to do whatever I need them to do, okay? They do my final walkthroughs for me. They contact the contractor. When they meet the contractor and go through the scope of work with the contractor, okay? So can you guys start to see how I utilize people to run my business for me? I don't look at houses, ever. Got quiet. No, I'm serious. I went and looked at one. What's that?
Is there a 10-page document on how to book your agents?
There is. This property review criteria for agents. You can send this to your agents. This is because agents are a pain to find. I mean, they're a pain to deal with. You're right. You're so right. And that's important. I want you guys to know this business isn't easy. I'm not up here telling you it's easy, because if I had a $25,000 course to sell you, I'd probably be telling you it's easy, but I don't. So it's not easy. Don't call like 2 agents and they seem like bums and you give up. But how many agents does it take to make you a lot of money? It only takes 1. Okay? I have an agent that called me the other day complaining, saying he's not reaching his goals with me this year because we've only done 40 deals so far. Okay? So it only takes 1. So put in that time. You got to put in that elbow grease. But this is something that really helped, and this is on that as well. Come check this out at the end. It really helped me not have to do too much training with every agent. Because when I try to find an agent, I don't want the top agent in that market, because he's going to be too busy. He's not going to give the time I need. Because as you can see, I slave drive my agents. Look, it's worth it, but I make them work, and they know that up front. They're going to be doing a lot of work. But they also know that they're going to get all my business. Okay? They have that area to themselves. And we'll throw them deals all the time as well. Okay? So I'm not looking for the very top agent, but I'm not looking for, Uncle Joe either, who just got his license and doesn't know how to comp a property and doesn't know the area, right? They got to know the area. They have to have experience. They got to know what they're doing, but they got to be willing to hustle and work hard. But you're going to have to teach them a few things. It doesn't mean you're not just going to call an agent and all of a sudden they're going to know what ARV is and after repair value and understand repairs. You got to teach them a few things. Send them this document. That'll be a good way for them to get started. I don't know why I'm giving all this stuff away. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, I believe in abundance. Since I've started my website and this podcast, I bought more houses in the last 45 to 60 days I've ever bought. We just put 3 under contract this week, 2 yesterday. Or I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I'd ask my assistant. But it's abundance, right? So, okay, and then in-house, I forgot to mention in-house MLS offers. We haven't really been doing that a lot recently just because we've been getting deals from everywhere else. But let's say, so we talked about an agent. You know, you work really hard, build this agent, but if you work with them, the right person, they can feed you for life. Same thing with in-house MLS offers. So who knows what I mean when I say in-house MLS offers?
Bucket listing?
No, not necessarily. Yeah, so I had a girl in my office who, when I say my office, I just mean she worked out of her house actually, but her job was to do nothing but make offers on properties on the MLS. Okay, so I've spoken a couple times, and every time afterwards, I haven't spoke on this specific thing. People will come up to me and they'll say, I can't buy any houses. The inventory, you know, it's too hard, blah, blah, blah. And then I nail them. I say, how many hours every week are you putting into acquisitions? And almost always, their answer is like 1 or 2, or maybe 3 or 4 or 5. Not gonna happen. You're not gonna buy many houses. You know, we probably, on average, I was running some numbers the other day, probably about 100 man hours at least go into every home just to get it under contract. Okay, can you grasp that? How many hours do each of you have in a week? Okay, 40, and you're probably spending a lot of that either at your job, or if you have a real estate flipping business, babysitting contractors or doing something, right? So you need to have people out there bringing these deals to you. We've purchased at least 10 houses, probably more. I need Vanessa here, she's my assistant. We've purchased at least 10 houses in the last 30 days from other investors alone. So they're out working hard, bringing us the deals, and they're getting paid good too. So it's not like it's a win-win situation. Okay, so in-house MLS offers. You know, if you have somebody, okay, let's say you know you don't want to spend too much money, right? What if you paid someone $10 to $12 an hour? They work 20 hours a week. Do you think in a month they could get you one deal? Probably. I just threw out the 100. Yeah, no. I just threw out the scenario. So it's close to that. Yeah. But I mean, how about a month and a half? I mean, yeah. Odds are within a month they're probably going to be able to get you a deal. Month to 6 weeks, and that's going to cost you about $1,000. Is it worth paying someone $1,000 to make you $25,000 or $30,000? Can I hear? Oh yeah? Oh yeah. Now I'm starting to feel like those gurus, right? They get you all pumped up. Run to the back of the room. $10,000. First 5 people. Dang, maybe I should get into that. I don't know. Oh, we'll see. Yeah, and a car. Okay, so bird dogs. A bird dog can be just letting people know that you buy houses and have them looking for properties that are vacant or abandoned or whatever. Or what we've done is we've gone as far as to try to make bird dogs specific people our partner. And I'll even sometimes pay for their marketing or some of their marketing and let them take calls and go out and I work with them. I say, hey, how can we help you? You know, what things can we do to help you improve? So that's another great way. Oh, direct marketing. So direct marketing, you know, trustee sales, you're buying at the auction, right? You got the cash. It's pretty hardcore stuff, right? Auctioneer, bunch of people bidding. Working with agents, you're working with an agent, mainly to make offers on the MLS, but you can do that in lots of different ways. Direct marketing means you're working directly with the seller. Okay, so that means usually there's no agent involved. And let's see what else. So there's no agent involved, you're just contacting the seller directly. And there's many methods you can use to do that. We're mainly doing direct mail right now. Basically, there's a service called Click to Mail. Write that down. That's they'll help you send out postcards. I mean, you can do these on your own, but I heard Daryl and Imran talking earlier. I don't like to do anything on my own. It just takes too much time, you know, to address all those envelopes and all that stuff. And then there's a bunch of other companies. Just Google. I don't want to give you the exact people we use because then we'll all be sending out the exact same letter to the exact same people. But if you Google direct mail services, it'll cost you about $1, right around there, give or take 10 cents for every letter you send out. Okay. Direct marketing. You also have, I think, you know, I heard. Yeah. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I do. When you're doing your in-house feeds, you've got somebody sitting, let's say, in the console doing offers. Are they licensed? Are they just making offers trying to figure out if you're having the agents double end it. That happens.
Yeah, so we have a few different direct mail campaigns. One of them goes to one of my agents who is also out making offers on the MLS, and he lets them know, like, the letter has his name on it and it says that he's licensed, and people don't really care, to tell you the truth. He doesn't get a commission though from that sell, and they know that. So yeah, see, I'm so hands off I almost forget like what the letter says, but it's pretty basic. Daryl Lemron talked about it. It says, we'd like to buy your house. Don't overcomplicate it. And these companies can help you as well. All right? So, okay, and then other investors. I mentioned other investors. Now with other investors, that's something that might take a little bit of time, but you might not. I mean, if you've got cash and you're serious and you're, ready to roll, you can find plenty of people who will wholesale you a house. Now, wholesalers, 90% of them, I'll tell you up front, are a complete waste of time. Complete waste of time. I mean, I see a lot of you laughing, so you probably know what I'm talking about. You might get an email from somebody that like 10 different people have like seen, and they're all tacking on $1,000. No one knows where the deal came from. It just gets wild, right? So my goal working with wholesalers is develop relationships with solid investors who know what they're doing. They're going to call me. They know I'm going to perform. I know they're not out fishing this around, sending it to 20 different people. I just write those guys off. It's a waste of my time. So work with the right guys. I'm currently buying from about 3 to 4 wholesalers. And the other day a guy emailed me and he's like, hey, I got a bunch of houses, and I wrote him an email very politely saying, look, I've dealt with you before. It wasn't horrible, but I said, if you send me one deal where you inflate the value or your repairs are low, I'll never look at one of your houses again. He's like, understood, and he didn't send me anything. So, so he's probably waiting for the right one. But that's, you got to set that right relationship. Otherwise, you're going to spend. When I was in that influx period from going to wholesaling and getting into rehab, there was a period of several months where I would analyze deal after deal after deal every single day, and nothing, because it was just a joke. I mean, or these guys just were trying to sell them for too much. So, but if you get the right, I'll answer your question just one second. If you get the right wholesaler, there was a very prominent wholesaler who sold me a house at the beginning of the year, and afterwards we did really well because the market went up. And I took him to his favorite sushi restaurant, and on the way I stopped by the bank and grabbed 30 Ben Franklins and just handed to him. He didn't ask for it. It wasn't expected. Who do you think he called next time he had a deal to wholesale? That was the best marketing campaign I've done all year. So take care of these guys. A lot of people, I see the way they treat wholesalers, and it's kind of like, oh, they're all worried. It's just, I don't know how, it's really interesting. But I told my assistant, I said, you treat these guys like gold. You perform quickly, you get them what they want when they need it. I mean, you don't let them walk all over you in any way, but treat them based the golden rule, right? Treat them how you would want to be treated in that transaction. And my goal is for my wholesalers to make as much money as they want. The more money they're making, the happier I am. I hear of some rehabbers who, they find out they're making 20 grand or 25 grand, the wholesaler, and they get upset and they try to get more money. No, I'm like, good for you, man. Because that means if you associate me with money, you're going to keep contacting me. All right, and then, like I said, both those reports are on there. housebuildinghq.com/SDIC. All right, on to pillar number 2, show me the money. So, who knows what private money is? Okay, private money, what's private money?
Private money comes from private investors, not private money lenders.
Okay, so who could be a private money lender? Raise your hand if you could be a private money lender. Everyone should have their hand up, right? So a private money lender is just anybody who has money. Maybe they have money in their bank account and they're earning like 0.5%, right? Or a CD earning 2 to 3%, or the stock market if they're concerned about it going up and down. And I mean, you can give these people a 12% return, 10 to 12%, whatever works for you. Or these guys back here, what, 7 or something? So you can give them a 10 to 12% return, And would that be good for them? Dude, I have this guy who works with my dad. I think he's currently investing $600,000 with me, and I'm paying him 12%. And you know what? He's going to be able to retire a few years early because he's investing with me. Is that a win-win or what? Don't ever feel like, if you're talking to someone about private money, like you're begging them for something, because you are giving them a huge favor. And the great thing about real estate is they can give you a loan and it can be secured against that property. What happened to the investors' money who invested in WAMU? Did they get to go seize the equipment and the buildings of Washington Mutual or what? No, they lost it, okay? If for some reason someone doesn't get paid back in real estate, they can have a house, and as long as they had a good LTV on that house and it has some equity, then they're gonna be fine, okay? So you're really doing them a big favor. Hard money, we talked about hard money. Of course, hard money is more expensive than private money, but you can get as much of it as you want. And the leverage with private money, you can finance the whole deal. But hard money is great for leverage. We use a ton of hard money. It's a great thing. JV and equity. Last year, when I had all those rental properties I started selling, I also got a pretty big JV lender. He saw the returns I was making. He put up like $1 million or so, and I just went out and bought trustee sales like a madman. So do not be afraid to give up half of a deal or whatever it takes if someone's going to help you fund it. What's your return on a deal if you didn't put up any of the money? It's infinite, okay? So don't look at it as, so many people are afraid to lose. I lost money because this realtor made a commission. I lost money because I paid this guy half of the deal. You didn't lose anything. There's no way I could have bought all those houses without the help of these people, okay? It's a team sport. And he was incredibly happy as well. He was getting a great return. That one's like in the cloud. You can't even see it. Creative financing. I'm not a huge creative financing guy just because I'm all about systems. I did a interview recently with RBD, and Roger said something pretty funny that was, he said, making money is boring. Okay? And that's kind of how it is with me. My goal is I want everything streamlined and systematized, but it is good to have a few little, to kind of understand some creative financing opportunities so you can use those when they come along. So unless you want to create your business around, that's totally fine. I'm just saying it's not my main gig. Now, a house we bought just 2 weeks ago, it's been about 3 weeks now. So it was brought to us by a wholesaler, and we ran the numbers, and it was just like, it's just a little too tight, just a little too snug by like 10 to 15 grand, right? But because we knew what she owed. She didn't even really care if she made any money at all. She just didn't want to get foreclosed on. And then we talked to her about subject to, taking over her loan subject to. Now this is for a flip. Okay, you probably hear subject to a lot for rentals. We did this for a flip. Subject to financing, I see a couple blank stares out there. It basically means we took over her loan that was existing on the property. Did that cost us any points? No points. Pretty low interest as well. Okay, no fees, no points, no interest. When we calculated it over the course of 4 months, which is how long it would probably take us to flip that property, came up to about 10 to 15 grand. And it was perfect, fit our numbers perfectly. She was good with it, we were good with it. And because it was still tied up front, the wholesaler is going to get paid a percentage on the back end. He'll make 20% on the back end, and he told this lady he'll give her 5. So kind of worked out for everyone. We could not have done that without creative financing. It just would not have worked. Okay, bank financing. You're probably surprised to hear this, right? I'm surprised to tell you. I just included it right now. Actually earlier this week, Monday, I went to a Clippers game with a hard money company invited me to a Clippers game. It was pretty cool. Like the big box seats, there was like big old couches and stuff, and $5 grand they paid for that room. Is that insane or what? But it's pretty cool. They invited, several investors. All were flipping, 50, 100 houses a year. It was pretty cool experience to be in that room with all those investors, all making high 6 or 7 figures a year. It was pretty interesting. But I got to talking to one of my friends that was there, and they just told me they got a $500,000 line of credit from a bank. They pay 1 point and 1 point for the year, and then they pay 6% on whatever money they use. And I was like, what? Where have I been? I think maybe I'm not networking enough. So we called, a couple days ago, we called a bank, and they're looking at us and they're saying they're probably going to give us a $2 million line of credit. So how about that, huh? So don't totally throw that out. That's a huge possibility. Am I better off paying 1 point for a year and 6%, or paying those? No, I'm just kidding. I'll still be calling you, don't worry. So there's lots of options out there. Don't.
That's where they get their money.
Email Vanessa. No, really, if you email me, I'll let you know. I'll let you know what bank. I might ask you to rate and review my podcast, but I'll let you know. Really, not to get sidetracked, but if you go to get to the podcast, just go to houseflippinghq.com/subscribe, and you can go and subscribe for the podcast. And then while you're there, if you leave me a 5-star rating and review, I'll just love you. It's how I get more people can see me in iTunes, and it helps us get it out there more. So I'd really appreciate that. Let's see.
Houseflipping.com.
Houseflippinghq.com, just like our website, /subscribe in all lowercase letters. Okay, so mix it up, right? So who in here thinks getting capital for a deal might be a hurdle? Okay, yeah, it's not always easy, but it might be hard to get that $300,000 from an investor, and it might be hard to get it from the hard money lender. But what if you marry the two? Okay, so what if you were able to get, these guys are saying 95%, right? So I mean, what would you land on a deal I bought for $300,000, more or less, if it's worth 300? Okay, aren't you good at math? Come on, I'm not. 95% of that. Okay, so if you can get 285, and let's say the rehab is like 25, then you're left with like 40,000, right? You think you can find someone with 40 grand that wants to earn a decent return? Now, if you get really desperate, you can offer them half the deal. I mean, get your foot in the door, okay? You basically don't think of it as you're losing money. Think of it as you're getting paid to learn. Do you hear that? Get paid to learn. Okay, so I don't care if you give them 12, 15%, the gap funder, right? You know what I mean? When I say gap funding, I mean whatever the hard money lender didn't pay. That's a great way to get started. Call me up and offer me half the deal. I'll do your gap funding, no problem. I'm sure these guys would too, because I'm going to make a killer return. So I'm not trying to pitch gap funding. It's not my deal, but I'm just letting you know there are people out there that will do that. All right, so let's go on to this third pillar, rehabbing. Okay, so you show up, you meet your contractor for the first time. Looks like a nice guy, right? Then you show up to the job, and this is what you find. So contractors can be a pain to work with. I actually wrote on my site. I don't have a post handout, but on my site I wrote an article about hiring good contractors. So check that out. In our business, I like to work with general contractors. I know a lot of people like to get subs because they want to save a few bucks. For me, it's not worth it, not even close. If I can hire a guy who is going to manage all of these people, that's all of these people that I don't have to manage. Okay? Does that make sense? And then what I've found is the contractors I'm working with right now, if I give them all my business, it costs me about the same anyway. So it's not even like I'd be saving all this money, okay? So here's a conversation you could have with the contractor, because you don't want them to charge you retail. So you got to let them know, hey, I'm an investor. I'm not a retail individual. This isn't a one type of deal. My contractors know that they will never go without work as long as we're working together, as long as, they're keeping me happy and we're happy with our relationship. I just move them from job to job. Okay, so I have one guy who can handle as many projects as I can give him. I like to have one or two other guys as well, just because it's good to have kind of a backup guy. So, and then I have one guy who only does one or two at a time, and then one guy we just bring on when we need him in a specific area. We fired him once or twice, but then he, comes back and improves, and everyone's laughing because it happens, right? But I tell you what, we have one guy right now who is just rocking it, and it's kind of, I don't know, over time the cream can kind of rise to the top a little bit. We still have to have open conversations with them from time to time, but it's a lot easier than it used to be. Kind of a snowball effect in this business. So this is something I love, and this is probably why this contractor is working out so well. This is my price list and my materials list, which I actually included in here. Now go through and make it your own, but what I do with every contractor is they know we don't negotiate with contractors. Who would like to stop negotiating with contractors? Is that not a pain or what? I don't negotiate with my contractors, except for maybe occasionally on very little things. Now I'll do it, Vanessa does it anyway. But we have a price list for everything. What are some standard things that all houses need practically, or most houses? Kitchen, bathroom, carpet, paint, flooring, windows sometimes. So we have a price list that says what we pay per square foot. So if the house is 1,500 square feet, it says what we pay per square foot for paint, for carpet, for flooring, for whatever. Or if it's installing blinds. I mean, what do we got in here? It just covers it all. Anything that ever comes up. And we got carpet, blinds, paint the exterior, full paint, not including the patio cover, installation of new interior doors, installing of all new lighting and hardware. Yeah, landscape. We have price per square foot for installation of wood flooring, baseboards per linear foot, house cleaning, small, medium, and large. Okay, so this is how it works. We have our deal flow. We get the deals from agents, wholesalers, birders. Just gotta keep those deals coming, right? All the direct marketing. My assistant analyzes those, and she knows the numbers. She confirms that it's a deal, lets me know we got a new deal. I say, great. And then we send our contractor out, and he has the price list, right? So he just goes through, comes up with his own scope of work. We don't even meet him there. I mentioned the agent meets him there, but I think we're kind of beyond that, actually. They come up with their own scope of work. They get going on the project right away. We don't like to waste time. It's a hot potato. I do not want to have 3 guys go bid my job, and then a week later we're still negotiating. That's money. We're losing money. Then they get going, but they have another project they're on. No, we don't deal with any of that baloney. Okay, so they're getting going right away. Within 3 days, they are required to send us their bid just for confirmation. We just don't want any stuff coming up, So they'll send us their bid, and Vanessa goes through it. She has the price sheet. House is 1,500 square feet. Paint should cost $1,500. No questions asked. Check, 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 check. Looks good. Bam. Okay. For us, depending on the house, if it's a lower home, we pay them half up front, half in the end. They pay for all the materials. I don't want to be dealing with going to Home Depot or even taking calls. They would go buy all the stuff, but we would pay for it. I don't want to be going to Home Depot. I don't want to be taking calls. I'm having dinner with my family. Them trying to get a hold of me, it's just nonsense. I don't want to deal with any of that. We pay them half up front, half in the end. If there are a lot of, if they're getting appliances actually we do separately. But that's just because we have an appliance company that just delivers those. Okay, yeah?
Can those prices on that list be a benchmark for smaller time investors who may not have the higher volume than you have?
Yeah, but you can get these prices still. Just let them know people want work. So just let them know you plan on doing a lot, and even if you don't, it's not, other people, right? So, but yeah, think of these as a benchmark. These are just to kind of give you an idea, kind of come up with what works for you. Okay, does that make sense? So the goal is to just every little thing you want to systematize and eliminate. Okay, and then I already mentioned that I have agents help kind of oversee if we ever have a question or need something. Then, you know, we recently had some guy claiming that he owned our house and he was like on Craigslist and trying to rent it out. You guys heard of scams like that. And my agent dealt with all that stuff. He went and set up a little like alarm, and he knows he's dealing with that. He doesn't even, he lets me know kind of what's going on, or lets Vanessa know, but he knows that's his job. So they do all that stuff. Okay, I mentioned Vanessa's role. If there ever comes a point where something does need to be checked out, like this year we have been doing some higher end homes, Vanessa will go check out those, or if she needs to go drive some comps, then my assistant Vanessa, she's awesome. I wish she could have been here tonight. She actually lives here in San Diego. Selling, I'm not going to get too detailed on this because number one, if you're already selling homes, you already know what you're doing. And if you're not, you don't need to worry about it. Okay? You either have an agent sell it or you can sell it yourself if you have the MLS. When you get to that point, shoot me an email if you have any questions. But basically, take good pictures. If you put 30 grand into a property, why would you not spend $150 for a professional photographer? Take good pictures, write a good description of the home. Don't write like one line. You know, you worked hard on it. Take the extra 5 to 10 minutes or have your agent make sure they do that. Yeah, I'll tell you what, even some of these agents that were kind of good that sent me crappy pictures. I'm like, what is this? Like, this is ridiculous. Why? I mean, anyway, it's a pretty funny conversation. So, let's see. Okay, so I kind of already get a little excited sometimes. I already went over kind of the workflow. So deal funnel. This is the number one thing, okay? All this other stuff, you know, when I went to that first seminar, I learned a ton of stuff, okay? Even though he wasn't a very good educator, we still learned a lot over 3 or 4 days. I came home and we filled this huge paper full of things that, that we had to do, right? But then I went through and I just broke it down and I wrote a list of what had to happen. And the very first thing was get deals. So right away, I got home, I sent out some letters. And I wasn't, even though I was kind of scared to send out letters, I knew no one could call for a day or two, right? So I thought, okay, put them in the mail. That's not that scary. When the phone rings, that's going to be scary. But then I didn't want to wait for the phone to ring. So I ordered some bandit signs. Those took a few days to get there. Okay, that's safe, right? I'm feeling good. And then that's when I went out and started door knocking, okay? And that was a little scarier, but I got over it, right? So deal funnel, figure out, you know, 2 to 3 ways for starters and then keep adding to that and then take away and adjust. But you gotta figure out how to get some houses under contract. Okay? DM is direct marketing, WS is wholesaler, is just that's kind of just our funnel. You know, have all these leads coming in. And another thing about those deals, I was talking to a guy the other day at that basketball game who was saying, you know, I've got like 20 houses a day to analyze and it's just crazy. I'm like, well, where are you getting these from? And you know, it's just, he's getting them from like random agents and random people who are just sending him houses on the MLS. I'm like, well, why don't you require them to analyze them? Oh, they don't know how. Well, then teach them or go work with someone else because you're wasting your time. You can go on the MLS yourself, make the offer, get the commission, and have more control over what's going on. You know, so for me personally, it's worth putting that time up front and investing into someone who can bring you that deal. Anytime someone brings me a deal, they are required to give me the ARV. They're required to tell me what their estimated repairs are and what they think, based on our numbers, what we should be offering on it. Okay, and then they basically have to have already made a call in and have an idea of what we can get it for. So they need to do some legwork. I'm not spending all day just analyzing deals. Okay, so we are a general contractor. They get out and get the work done. Okay, so deals at a glance. I have that on the list as well. Now, I did this, was this from last year, the year before? So there was a time, okay, at the end of 2012, these are all the deals we had going on. Does that look like a lot of deals? I think it's like 40 or 50. That's how many that we had either purchased recently that were being evicted or cashed for keys, or we were rehabbing, or we were selling, or we had sold and was in contract. So at one stage of the process or another. So this is all I use to manage all these deals, okay? It's not very complicated. It says vacant, rehab complete, listed, escrow, meaning it's in escrow, closed, and then accounting. So once all those items are done, this is what I would look at. My assistant had a more detailed checklist, but for me, this is all I had to look at to manage all those deals. And if I saw something wasn't moving along, I just talk to her. Well, about once a week, I would go over the deals with her and kind of get an idea of where everything was at. Okay, so all about systems. All right, you guys ready for some fun here? All right, we got LSD up here and SD. Who likes to draw? I mean, who has good writing? I saw you look up. You have good writing? Okay, come on up. Okay, so I want you guys, you can erase that for me. Tell me, delegation, right? It's all about delegation. So I want you guys to just start listing off things. If this comes from you, it'll be so much more powerful. Here's another huge, huge tip. When I hired Vanessa, I started out paying her like $10 an hour, okay? Plus bonuses, she knew there was some potential there. But I didn't go out and hire someone for like 6 figures a year or anything crazy. But I trained her. She was motivated enough, and I trained her these systems. And every time she would come to me, at first she started with some really basic items, but every time she would come with me to a question, I would say, no, give me the answer, and then I'll confirm or give you feedback. So to this day, that's still what she does. And 98% of the time, I'm like, hey, done. You know, so usually we know that answer. So I want to get these answers from you guys, because it's going to be a lot more powerful. So just start listing off things that are a part of a house flipping business. Start, okay, marketing. Okay, so specifically even with marketing, we can go into what is involved in marketing. Let's do letters. What's involved in sending out a letter?
Write it.
Okay, so if you're doing in-house mail, you're going to be writing addresses, stuffing envelopes. You can write, you can like abbreviate and stuff. You just do whatever you want. I trust you. No pressure. What's that?
Pick your farm.
Pick your farm. Okay, that's something that has to be done. If you're going to do bandit signs, what's that?
Lending.
Lending, okay, financing, you got to raise some capital, okay. What else? Okay, so making offers on houses, fixing up properties, managing properties. Okay, hey, what else? Throw out a couple more, and then we'll trash out. Okay. Networking. Okay. Selling the property. Someone said selling. Maybe putting up signs in the yard that says, for sale or whatever you're going to do. Oh, okay. So rehabbing. Okay. Staging. Good. This is all good. Now, my goal every single day, this is my job, to work myself out of a job. Every day, I'm not kidding. I wake up and I say, who can I have do something for me that I'm currently doing? Every day. That's what I do. I've gotten pretty good at it. So that should be your goal as well. And you might start small, okay? So, good. Now, is there anything in here that cannot be delegated out? Is there anything that you have to do yourself? You don't have to sign the check. I'm not kidding. I do not go to the bank. I actually had to go to the bank on Monday to close an account, and my wife's been hounding me for a month, and it was painful dragging me into that bank. I don't go to the bank. I don't sign paperwork. I had an attorney create a document. I had to pay him $500. He created a document that allows, my mom works for me as well, and I'm an assistant, that allows them both to sign and negotiate on my behalf. So I don't get any of this baloney anymore about, oh, well, you're not the owner or agent, so you can't do the negotiating. Oh, look at this, buddy. So I believe, just know that you don't have to do anything. And that's hard work, don't get me wrong. But so many people get the feeling, yes?
Networking.
You have to do that on your own?
You should.
My assistant is a dang good networker. I thought about having her come tonight, but Daryl told me, no, I'm just kidding. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying not to do any of this stuff. Who's read the book, what's that book? Okay, the 4-Hour Work Week is, that right along the same lines. 4-Hour Work Week. What's that?
Title of Amir's book, do nothing and get everything.
Do nothing and get everything, right? So, no, E-Myth. Okay, so the whole idea of E-Myth is you create all the jobs first, and then you fill in the name of who's doing it, but then you can replace those job positions as you're able to bring on more people and systematize in that way. Okay, you can sit down. Didn't go exactly how I thought, but it's still pretty good, right? So the point is you got to believe that though, and start out small. Don't, like you mentioned networking. Okay, networking, and one of the things that I still do a lot of is raising money. You know, we've been buying more houses than ever lately. So last week my assistant's like, hey, we're kind of starting to run low on money. I'm like, what? You know, we had like a ton in the bank before, now we're running low. It goes quickly, right? So I got on the phone, and within 2 to 3 hours, I mean, some of them got back to me, but I ended up raising about $250,000 of private money. Bam.
You didn't delegate that out.
You know what? Sometimes I do. And my assistant will sometimes call people, but that is what my point is, I am not 100% completely out of my business. Like, I never get involved at all. Okay? Like I said, it's about 5 to 10 hours a week that I'm at right now. And I don't know that I'll ever be out 100%. I don't feel the need right now. But, you know, my point is I don't want you guys to get going on house flipping and just create another job for yourself. I mean, that's going to be the case at the beginning, because you should probably, most everything you should do once before you delegate it out, except for licking stamps and writing. I don't think you ever need to do that at all, I'll tell you the truth. So things like that you just don't need to do. So start with the things that are easy. Hire someone for 10 hours a week if you want, and delegate the basic tasks to them that are easy to train, because if they don't work out, you can easily train someone else. Now, if you bring someone on and it takes a lot of time to train them, it's going to be hard if you let them go. Okay? Any questions with that? Alrighty. So we pretty much went through all that. Delegated out. Okay, before you know it, you work your way out of a job. Delegation. Okay, business plan. All right. Woo, you guys have your pens and papers ready? What time do I have? Until 9?
Sure. 9:15.
9:15? But that includes Q&A, right?
We can do about 10-15 minutes of Q&A after.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, got to stretch for this one. Who wants to leave here tonight with the business plan? Sure. Okay, that's what we're going to do. A business plan, you do not need to go write this big, huge thingamajig, okay? Because you're going to change it anyway. I'm adjusting my business plan all the time. I write a pretty detailed one about twice a year. When I say pretty detailed, it's like on like one page, okay? Not too crazy. So this is all you need. They say a good business plan can be written on a napkin or an index card, okay? So this is all you need for a business plan. You need to have a goal, a very measurable goal. Realistic, but measurable. Okay? Who wants to be my live example? I need someone who has been coming to real estate investing meetings for at least 6 months, but hasn't done anything. Nobody? Usually there's at least a handful, or are you guys just afraid to come up? Okay, come on up. Yeah. So you guys do this as well, okay? So for the goal, I want it to be, and I might call on some people as well. I want it to be a financial goal. So it's very measurable. So write down what you either want to make in a year or per month. So what do you want to make in real estate investing per year or per month?
Well, for right now, for this year coming up, $100,000.
Okay, so you'd like to make $100,000 over the course of the next year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, does that sound doable? Yeah. That's doable, very doable. Okay, so that's your goal. Done, right? Item number 1, done. $100,000. So make a plan. How are you going to make this happen? So if you want to make $100,000 in a year, how much do you have to make each month?
Like 8,500.
Okay, cool. We'll call it 10 grand. Let's have a little bonus in there. What do you say? Maybe maybe it'll take you a couple months to get that pipeline going. Okay, so we're shooting for about 10 grand per month. Okay, now your plan. How are you going to make that happen?
Well, that's a good question. Let's see. I'm going to.
Are you going to go find a good contractor tomorrow?
Yes. Okay.
Are you going to go find someone to sell the houses for you tomorrow?
No, I'm going to find deals.
Good. You're going to find deals.
Yes.
Are you going to worry about the money tomorrow?
No.
Money follows the deal.
Right.
Okay? Don't worry about the money yet. You're going to find deals. Okay? So what have we eliminated? We just eliminated like 75 or 80% of the business, right? Well, finding deals is a big part, but we're going to eliminate some of that too. We don't need to do everything. So how are you going to find those deals?
Through other wholesalers.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. You can through other wholesalers, through networking. It might be, yeah, you can do it. You can do it through wholesalers, just networking, yeah. Okay, agents.
Networking. I'm a wholesaler actually, but.
Okay, great.
Agents, Craigslist.
Okay. Yeah, I heard these guys say they got a deal on Craigslist. I was like, what? I didn't even know that was doable. I thought it was a bunch of. Guess who I'm.
So do we. We delegated it.
Guess who I'm gonna. Yeah. Guess what I'm gonna implement tomorrow. Okay. So you kind of mentioned some ideas of what you might do. Did that sound really specific? I don't know. You guys buying it 100%? I'm not buying it 100%. I want some specifics. Okay.
I'm going to find the deals.
Yeah, I mean, you're good so far. We need this to be very specific. Your goals need to be very specific. So,
Direct marketing.
okay, direct marketing. What kind of direct marketing are you going to do?
To sellers of properties, perhaps.
Okay. So you're going to do direct mail.
Direct
more
mail.
specifically.
Direct
okay. So you're going to do out of state or out of state landlords?
Out of state landlords.
Okay,
perhaps.
perfect. So you're going to mail to out of state landlords. Who knows where you can get an out of state landlords list? Okay, from a title company. There's a great list source. Write that down. That's a great resource that you can find. Well, if someone's out of state landlord? What are they called? An absentee owner, but out of state absentee owner. So why would an out of state landlord potentially want to sell you their property? Okay, yeah, because maybe you call them right when their tenant moved out, or they've got some repairs to do. They went and paid 25 grand for that seminar. Someone convinced them to buy some houses, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. Okay, what's that? They don't have systems. Okay, you've heard of a burnout landlord, right? So, how many are you going to send out, letters or postcards?
Postcards.
Okay.
I think because they're cheaper. I think I haven't done that yet, but I'm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they're like 35 cents. I'd say each more or less.
Yeah, it depends how you do it. I know click to mail I think is about 45 or 50, but yeah. So how many postcards? How many people are you going to send it out to?
500.
Okay. So you're going to get a list of 500 people.
Yeah.
How many times are you going to hit them?
I don't know. Twice a month, perhaps.
No, that sounds good. Hit them twice a month for 3 months. They say, what did someone say? Go ahead. Someone said 90 or something like that. I don't know. No? Any feedback on that? I'm not like a professional direct marketer. I'm not. Yeah.
Try sending them out around the 10th of the month,
Okay.
every month for, let's say, 4 months.
Okay, I think that's great. So you need to figure out what's that going to cost you financially. Make sure that works. Okay, I'm not going to get too personal. But you guys know what works for you. If that's going to be a cost burden, then maybe you need to try something. Work a little harder on your networking with realtors. I'm talking to everybody right now, not just you, but or door knocking or something like that. That doesn't cost as much money. Okay, but I think that's doable for. I think that's manageable, right? Not too expensive. What would that cost? To send out 500 once a month for 4 months. What was that going to cost per month?
$1,000.
$1,000, but $250 a month, right? So I think that could be doable. Then how are you going to take those calls? Are you going to take them, or are you going to have it go to someone else? Do you have a job, or do you?
No, I just do this
Okay, great.
full time. I don't take the calls.
You do it full time and you haven't done a deal yet?
I have.
Oh, okay. That's all right. I thought, okay, never mind. Okay. So, didn't I ask for someone who hasn't done a deal yet? Okay, you cheated.
6 months.
What's that?
You said you hadn't done a deal in 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that what you said? Somebody that hadn't done a deal?
You're too advanced. No, I'm just kidding. But it sounds like you want to take it to the next level, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. So this is good. I think everyone's learning anyway. So,
Sorry.
you're fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. So does everyone get the point of where I'm going, though? Okay. You can sit down.
That's it. I'm done. You're done.
Yeah. We'll keep hashing it out real quick. We're almost there. So you're gonna take the calls, or you're gonna take the calls yourself?
I probably take it myself. But
Okay. Have you taken calls before?
I have, yeah.
Okay. How do you take your calls then?
Well, I have a real estate lead sheet that
Okay.
I use, and it's got all the questions: how many bedrooms, how many. Well, how did you hear from me? If I'm not sure where it's from, the lead. So I put out ads online and stuff like that, and so and then I get the information of the property: how many beds, how many baths, their name, their phone number, why are they selling. And then I try to negotiate the deal from there, try to get their motivation, see how motivated they are.
Okay. Perfect.
And then try to get them as low as possible.
Okay.
And then when they say, when they put out, I'll say, how low can you go? And then they'll say 100,000. They went lower, and I say, well, I don't know if that'll work. You can always list it with a realtor and sell it in 6 to 9 months. And
Yeah. The takeaway. I mean, let them.
yeah, it's a takeaway. Yeah.
No, but that's good, because you're going to figure out are they really motivated or not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. I like it. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Okay, good job. That was good. Give him a round of applause. That was good. We took it a different angle. We learned from him, though. Okay. So really quickly, someone else tell me what's your goal? What's your plan? Nothing like accountability. Okay. So raise your hand. Who wrote something down? Yeah. In the back. Yeah, go for it.
What was the question?
What's your? Tell me your goal, and then your plan, and then your system.
100,000, it's 17,000 a month. Out of state, I just had somebody do this, and I got I'm trapped. I got 40 phone calls, and I can't answer them all.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have somebody do it.
Good. Okay. So let's say you want to make 17,000 a month. How many deals is he going to have to do in a year to make $300,000? Depends, right? Let's say if you're wholesaling, let's say he's going to make 10 grand per deal. If he's flipping, he's going to make 30. Okay? So he can either do 10 flips, or he can do, how many wholesales would that be? 30, right? Or 30 wholesale deals. Okay? So that's anywhere from 1 to 3 deals a month, or a little bit less, actually. Is that doable?
Yeah.
That's doable. Okay. So maybe you do direct mail, and then maybe you really hustle some agents. Maybe you try to call 10 agents and work with 2 to 3 of those to bring you deals, because you're going to kind of filter some of those out, and then 1 or 2 might rise to the top. And do you think one of those agents, at least if 2 of them are working really hard, making a lot of offers, at least 1 can bring you a deal a month? Probably. Okay. So there you go. You got your 2 to 3 deals right there. Okay. All right. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Well, a little bit related. When you're getting a deal and you're looking at it, at what point do you say, fine, I'm going to finish it and retail that flip, or I'm not going to fool with it, but it's a deal, I'll just wholesale it?
Okay. For me, we're currently rehabbing everything. Okay. But you know, some people do it two different ways. I know some guys who do nothing but wholesaling. I've got a guy who, he's been very successful, but he doesn't want to deal with it. He knows I have the systems together. He's really good at marketing and negotiating. So he just wants to focus everything on that side, and he feels like he can do a higher volume to make up for that. Okay? I'm better with, I got the rehab systems going and all that, and we're okay with marketing, but I have a lot of people that bring deals to me. There are a lot of people, I have another guy who he does both. He will rehab everything he can, but when he runs out of capital, he wholesales it. All right? So this is what I need everyone to do. Okay, don't overthink it, number one. So don't let doubt seek in. First of all, Alan, right? Don't let people tell you you can't do this business, because you're talking to someone who's doing 200 deals over the last 2 years, and there's several other people here that are flipping houses. Don't tell anyone you can't. I don't even ask people their opinion anymore about anything. Seriously. Even some successful people, I mean, you know, take that for what it's worth. And there's obviously certain people that you can, you know, talk to and ask their opinion about. But don't let doubts from other people creep in, and don't let doubts that you can't do this business creep in. Don't worry about the money. Okay, does that help if you can eliminate that? Yeah. All you got to do is figure out how you can go get a deal. All right? And if you can make that happen, then I read this blog post from this guy that I interviewed today, and he just talked about, you know, there's this world over here that you've heard about called financial freedom, and you know a lot of people have experienced it. But a lot of times you run out of gas before you get there. And that can either be financially, or that can be emotionally or physically. You know, you could be so close to this place, but you just gave up and turned around a little too soon because you're about to run out of gas. It's kind of the same theory of the 3 feet from gold. I mean, there are so many times, I've been self-employed for 8.5 years. I had another business before house flipping. If I would have seen about 75% of that journey in a crystal ball along the way, I never would have done it. But I'm glad I didn't see that moment, because I'm glad that I'm at the moment I'm at now. So take action, practice analyzing deals. That's number one, just learn, get really good at that. Yes?
I'm a real estate agent, and I'm looking for deals for myself.
Okay.
It seems like everything's priced too high. You said you did 10 last month. Are you doing it in San Diego County?
I'm doing them all over. Well, yeah, we purchased several homes in San Diego. So everything's priced too high. Number one, if just because it's priced doesn't mean that's what it's going to sell for. Number two, you might be looking for homes that are more retail. We don't buy anything that doesn't need a lot of work.
Right. No, I'm looking at things that, you know.
Well, why would somebody pay retail? When you say price too high, you're saying it's priced as like a home that's brand new, fixed up?
No, but let's say it's priced at $3.8, and you can sell it for $4.75, but it needs $50,000 of work. I mean, it's like this, you know, the numbers aren't always there.
Okay. There are some people that overpay for properties, for sure. Either it's an investor who doesn't know what they're doing, or maybe someone who's going to buy the house and live in it. But the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of times someone is making money on that house, and you just might be off. Maybe this is what a lot of agents do, is when they're coming up with their after repaired value, they'll do a CMA, they'll come up with a bunch of houses, mix them together, and then they come up with an amount that is much lower than what you could sell the property for if you add value by fixing it up. So it's possible that your analysis could be a little off. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying there's got to be something. And the truth of the matter is inventory is tight, and people are willing to take smaller margins right now. So it's a numbers game, number one. I mean, we don't buy every house we offer on. On the MLS, we probably buy like 1 in 50 that we offer on. And that's with follow-up. Okay? A lot of times that person might fall out. They might be offering too high. They might fall out. So you got to be up on that. Number two, maybe you need to be doing some other marketing things as well. If you're marketing directly to somebody, are you going to have the same competition as you would on the MLS? No, you're not going to have the same competition, but it still works for that person because there's no agent commission involved, there's no closing costs involved. It's going to work. They're still going to get a fair price as well. Okay, so I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. If it were easy, everybody would be doing it, okay? It's not easy. What's that? Yeah, no, that's because we're all here. Yeah.
So you're flipping, is it just here in California or in Southern?
Yeah, just in Southern California. Yeah, and just, I mean, even this year, I just keep expanding, you know. I just talked to my assistant, a couple people this week. We're gonna, you know, we've done some deals in parts of LA, but we're gonna go deeper into LA now. We just, I don't know, we just want more. we do San Diego, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, and some in LA, and we're gonna expand more into LA. Yes?
So you talked about financing not being an issue. How much of your own money should you be putting in versus financing?
Depends how much you have. I'm not asking you how much you have. I'm just saying it depends how much you have. Like I use a lot more of my own financing now than I did when I started. When I started, I didn't have any. So I wasn't using any. I was wholesaling because I didn't have any capital. Then I was borrowing some private money. And then I built up a little bit of my own to where I could leverage my money with hard money or private money. Okay, so it depends how much you have and it depends how much you want to invest. I always keep a certain amount of reserves, but it just depends on your comfort level and what you have. But you don't need any. I mean, you really don't.
It sounds like there's question and answers at this point.
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty much done. So let me just go through this. So basically, practice analyzing deals, study buying systems, start making offers. Okay, here's your homework, and then we can make 10 offers in the next 30 days. Who can do that? Who's up for that challenge? That is what will take you to the next level. It's like a free education. I mean, seriously, this is like the value of a 2-year college education here, okay? Making 10 offers in 30 days, you'll learn a ton, all right?
If you guys have questions, come up to the blue microphone right up here.
You can clap, this is where you clap.
All right, thank you, Justin.
No. Okay, go ahead. Oh, they're probably going to clap again, too. I like the clapping part.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Great.
Hey, what direct marketing do you like the best as far as what strategies, employing, mailing to where?
You know,
or do you not like it?
There's so many ways to buy houses. It's incredible. I mean, so many people get caught up in the secret. What's the best thing to do? You can and will buy houses by direct mail. You can buy it with bandit signs. You can buy you can buy houses door knocking. I talked to a guy today who's doing nothing but internet marketing and getting a ton of leads. In fact, he's the guy I interviewed. You hear him come out in 2 weeks, you'll see that I kind of nailed him. He was trying to dodge it, and I nailed him on it. And then afterwards, he's like, "Oh man, I didn't want to say all that stuff." But
real quick, Justin. Hey, before everybody leaves, I want to give everybody an opportunity for next month. We're going to have actually our deal profiles. It's one of my favorite times of the month, or times of the year. We get to actually see what everybody else is doing in the room. So there won't be some fantastic, awesome speaker like Justin Williams. It's actually going to be you guys, which is fantastic and awesome. So in the back of the room, if you guys want to share any deal that you did in the past, we'd love an opportunity to hear it. Go ahead and sign up in the back of the room. Rob, back here, he's got the clipboard. And then on a second note, if you guys had an awesome time tonight, which I did, thank you. If you guys want to give a video testimonial and be part of our YouTube channel, that'd be awesome as well. So a testimony would be great for the club.
These guys have an awesome club. Seriously, this is amazing.
Thank
$14.
you,
I spent about 40 grand the first 2 years on education for junk. So you guys are at the right place, and no car to show for it. Yes.
I'm starting, and I have to start with wholesaling. How do you put a deal under contract when you don't have that cash or the money left?
Okay.
Don't you have to make an offer to get a...
Yeah, okay, so you're talking about, okay, when you make an offer on a house that's on the MLS, especially if it's like a bank-owned property, like with an agent, they're probably going to want to see like a proof of funds, okay? So number one way to avoid that is just market to direct sellers, because they're not going to care about a proof of funds, okay? But if you are going to be doing that, then there's several ways to do that. There's one way that some people do that I won't mention because it's probably unethical, but it is unethical. That's, Photoshop, but don't go there. I don't do that. So some people do. I'm just saying what some people do. Don't do that though. So another way, just partner with somebody. I mean, if you get really good at analyzing deals, there are probably a lot of people that have a proof of funds that they may even be your lender. And why can't you make offers in their name? Okay? This is kind of crazy, and I have a post on this, by the way, but something that I did when I first started is I knew a guy really well, and he put the money in my bank account for a day. I went and got a proof of funds and then sent it back to him. So a lot of people probably won't do that for you, but that is an option. But other than that, make offers in their name. They have nothing to lose by you making offers in their name, using their account. Say, hey, if I happen to get this offer, you can look at the house first, make sure you like it, and we can make some money together. So.
Okay, thank you.
It's not the answer you wanted, is it?
So if you have a friend who can do that, yeah.
No, well, don't. Here's the thing. A lot of people find reasons why they can't do this business. Find the reason you can. I just gave you several reasons that you can. So if you don't feel comfortable getting money from someone else, you know somebody who has enough money for you to make an offer on a house. I guarantee you. Guarantee you. I do not know a lot of people with a lot of money, but you'd be surprised. But start out making offers to direct sellers. Right now is actually the time that people are transitioning out of making offers on the MLS. So I would actually recommend going the direct seller route.
So the direct sellers, you don't need to
No,
prove that?
you don't need any proof of funds.
You just say it's cash?
Nope. Another thing you can do is just make the offer, and they may not ask for proof of funds, but if they do, maybe you're close to getting it accepted. Call someone else. Oh, okay, here's a great one. Talk to a hard money lender. They'll probably give you a proof of funds. There you go. All right. I'm glad I kept going on that.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hey, hello again. He can also use Best Transaction Funding. It's a transactional funding company that I use their proof of funds.
Okay, great.
And there's many of them out there.
Okay.
I use Insider's Cash too. That's a paid one though. You got to have an LLC, but you can Google them, and there's tons of them out there.
Okay.
And you can, so they're property specific, but you can. I called one of them up, and they showed me how you can just put in, like I used one for the state of California. It says I'm authorized any property in the state of California.
Awesome.
So, anyways,
great feedback.
I'm a wholesaler, and I wanted to mention really quick, in case anyone's wondering, because I wanted to say that was what it is I have is tunnel vision. So, because I'm obviously looking at you, and I have a cane. So I know people, I'm like the most misunderstood guy in the world. So it's fine. I deal with it, but it's like looking through two straws.
Yeah.
So 2020 or 2025, but no peripheral vision.
Okay.
So that's why I use a cane. In case you're wondering, don't want you to think I'm a faker, but I don't know if anybody uses a white cane and fakes it, but you never know, right? So anyways, I'm a wholesaler, and I wanted to, first of all, ask you, do you have those documents that you're reading? I know you have them online. Did you happen to bring any you printed out? So
yeah, they're all printed out right here. You guys come check them out. Come.
Can I take them with me?
No, because then no one else can check them out.
Okay, so
they're all
out.
there. You can have that way. You can forward them to your agent or whatever you want.
Awesome. Well, I'm a wholesaler. I'm still new. I've done 3 deals. I wanted to say 2. One of them I did wholesale to a guru, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
To Dean Graciosi. I wholesaled the deal to him in Kansas City.
Awesome.
I bird dogged my first deal in February or January of this year, and then I wholesaled 2 other deals in Kansas City in September. So, but I've learned a lot of stuff, made a lot of offers, and I wanted to maybe run deals by you to get your criteria. I don't know if you want to say it right now or just
no. Okay, so this is how I analyze deals right now. You want to know how I analyze deals?
Okay.
A good way to start is you have the ARV, after repaired value. This isn't what I do, but this is times 70% or times 75% minus repair costs. All right, and that's all written all over here. Okay.
Oh, okay.
What I do is I focus on the return of the total capital that it takes invested into the deal. Okay, so if I buy a house for $80,000, I'm just using these numbers because they're easy. If I buy a house for $80,000 and it takes $20,000 to fix it up, it's $100,000 that it costs to buy the house, right? Total. I don't care where that money comes from. Okay, My goal is to make a 40% annualized return, make sure you hear that right, a 40% annualized return on that total capital invested. Okay, so you said 13%, right? Yeah, so I'm looking, if I can turn that, if I feel like it's a pretty turnkey house that I can turn in 3 to 4 months, then I'm aiming for right about 13% on that invested capital. So if the total investment was $100,000, I ought to be looking to make $13,000, which if I were to do that 3 times in a year, it'd be 39 grand or right close to 40 grand or 40% of a $100,000 investment. Okay? Now that works because if I'm paying a 12% money lender, then what's my return on the money? What's that? If it's okay, so I'm paying a 12%, my annualized return would still be 28%. If I'm paying a hard money lender, which is closer to 18% annualized, then my annualized return is going to be 22% on their money. Is that pretty good to make 22% on someone else's money? Not too bad. If I'm paying a 50-50 partner, they're going to get 20% annualized, and I'm going to get 20% annualized. That's pretty good. That works too. It all works. Okay? So that's how I analyze my deal. So if it's a $200,000 investment, my goal is to have a total profit of like $26,000. Now, if I think it's going to take 6 months to turn, then I want to make 20% on that one deal because I can only turn that money 2 times in that year. Does everybody follow that? Yep. So if we're adding square footage or it's just a huge rehab that's going to take a lot of city permits, or if it's occupied, I may be closer to 18, 20% on my total return.
Where do you put your transaction costs, please?
Well, when I said 20%, so it's called, you have hard costs and you have soft costs, right? So when I analyze what return I'm looking to make, it's just based on the hard costs, which includes purchase price for the home, also includes the rehab cost, and then carrying cost, which are property taxes, insurance, maintenance for the property, stuff like that. Okay? I just threw that in the 20,000.
Okay, that was great. Where should I send you deals then? Just on your website, go on there and...
Yeah, reach out to Vanessa at houseflippinghq.com. She's my assistant.
2 S's or 1?
What's that?
2 S's?
House.
V-A-N-E-S-S-A?
Oh, I'm sorry. V-A-N-E-S-S-A, yeah.
Okay.
So awesome. You can email it to her. And once again, don't take this the wrong way, but because we are all about systems, don't email us a property unless you have it tied up or have a very strong inside track, and it's a deal.
Always.
Don't just send me like 20 properties. I'm talking this fair. Don't send us 20 houses that are on the MLS. Or I had one lady one time, like she was being secretive and she didn't want to send it. And she was sending me a property that she found on foreclosure radar that was just a house. She's like, I think there's opportunity here. And I'm like, you're being secretive about that? She didn't know anything about that. It was just kind of silly. Yeah.
I will send you deals.
Okay.
They're
right.
not
I guess we're going.
Garbage.
I guess we have a line here, so I probably need to.
Yep. What was his terminology for best something or another, right?
Best transaction.
Oh, okay. Best transaction. Yeah. Thanks. Yes.
So you mentioned you had, if I heard you correctly, an agent that basically is kind of like takes all your calls when you send out direct marketing. Is that correct?
He takes some of my calls. Yeah, in his area.
Okay. Yeah. Does that person, I assume, gets paid on not only buy the property, but when you sell it, or how does they get?
Yes, I give them all my listings. If we don't make very much money on the house, his commission's reduced.
Okay.
Because we're going off of his value, which he usually does really good.
Okay.
But if we don't make money, he's not making money.
But again, only when you sell it, the property. Yes, his commissions are based on that.
And then if, not very often, but every once in a while, 1 out of 20 houses, we might lose a couple grand on. If we are, he's going to make up for it.
And what kind of purchase contract do you use when you're buying from your direct marketing? Is it just a car, or do you have like a special?
He uses car
okay.
forms because he feels comfortable with them. Okay. Don't overthink that stuff, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good question.
Yeah.
It really is. Because I thought about it a lot. Just get a basic contract. You can get them at Office Max, or just look it up online.
Okay.
Any contract will work.
First Tuesday.
Cool.
First Tuesday? Good,
Tuesday.
great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, great questions. Yes, Daryl.
Justin, I just want to thank you very, very, very much for being here.
That was a good time.
I appreciate it very much. Everybody give him a round of applause. And before we leave, Just a few things. Next month, again, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about deals, and that's your guys' deals.
Okay.
And if you've recently done a deal, want to be featured on stage, get with us at the meeting. There's a sign-up board in the back. And then again, if you want to be a part of our YouTube channel, go see Rob back there in the room, and he's got a couple questions he'll ask you. They're not hard questions, so it should be pretty simple. You can actually find us on Facebook at facebook.com, San Diego Investment Club FIBI. And you know, I didn't really talk about this, but this is an awesome, awesome way for all of you guys to do a little bit of marketing yourself. Throw your deals out there, ask questions on our Facebook page, go find the photos and tag yourself. This lets everybody in your community on your Facebook know what you guys are doing. So this is a great way for you guys to connect with other people. I mean, we've had a lot of people come to us and, hey, I found out, you know, my friend on Facebook found me and knew what I was doing, so they brought me a deal, or they brought me an opportunity.
I've raised a lot of money on Facebook.
Great way to raise money as well. So write these websites down, go here, utilize them. You know, this is for you guys, for your advantage. Now, on our meetup website, you can go to the, what is that, the More tab, and under the More tab, you're going to find files. Under the files, we're going to have all of the presentations that you've seen here tonight, and then on the YouTube channel, you're going to have to actually see videos. So if you missed something, didn't quite catch it, come back here, go to the YouTube channel. You can rewatch the video on YouTube. And again, files, we're going to have all the Justin stuff up here and all the slides as well. I hope you guys really enjoyed the meeting. I had a great time. And if you did, 5 stars,
awesome.
Appreciate it. Awesome.
All right.
You guys were great.
Really.
Great crowd.
You really, really delivered for everybody. It was awesome.
Good.
Really appreciate it.
So that's it for now. Everybody, if you guys go over to the bar and do the networking, introduce yourselves, talk to people that you've never talked to before. Tell them what you guys do.
Honestly, this is where all the money happens, is from the networking.
Right.
It really is.
So we will see you in the bar. Thank you, everybody.